Well, hello and welcome, Lanita, your scrappy grandma here. I'm gonna get this right out of the way. I did not get in an accident. I have a genetic disorder that it's called Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. I've had it my whole life. It's genetic. I got it from my mother, um, maybe even from my father. But it's called hypermobility, and my tendons and ligaments are too loose. And over the 64 years, 60, however many years I am old now, 64 years, everything's gotten way too loose. And so my neck bones go out of place and then pinch nerves and cause headaches. And my back fatigues out because what happens is all the ligaments and tendons that are supposed to hold our spine erect and our head up, mine are too loose, and so my muscles have to work extra hard to hold it all together, and then they end up fatiguing and spasming and causing a lot of pain. So this is one of the things. I went to a pain clinic a few weeks ago and talked to the doctor there. So we're trying a few things. This is step one. It's called bracing. I'm also going to be getting some for my hands because that's one of the hard things. Like I have thumbs that do that. So like I have no leverage with my thumbs. They're pretty much useless. I feel like they're monkey thumbs. Um, so the braces are awesome because they come all the way down to here and then they make it to where I can actually use my thumb and not have it go like that and like that. And yeah, because like that's useless. Um, so yeah, we're gonna try bracing and see how that helps. Also tomorrow, if you can pray for me, I'm doing a new therapy. It's called ketamine infusion. So ketamine is an anesthesia and it's a 3 hour infusion and it's supposed to go into the pain portion of the brain. So a lot of times people with chronic pain, they get stuck in their brain gets stuck in a pain loop of, your body's in pain, your body's in pain. And so the ketamine goes and it goes to that part of the brain and it resets it and supposedly stops the pain loop. So we're going to try that tomorrow. Then there's acupuncture down the road. So we're just trying a lot of different things so that I don't have to be on opioids for the pain. So thank you for your grace and bearing with me. The reason I'm having to wear the bracing, I have to wear it especially when I am at the computer because I'm having to sit up and my muscles fatigue out after holding me up to sit here for the hour that it takes me to record this. So, um, yeah, that's it. So we'll just move on from there. Anyway, let's just begin with prayer. Father God, thank you so much. Thank you for your goodness, your kindness, your mercy. Oh, you've just been pouring it out on us continuously, your blessings. It is so beautiful to walk in favor, and I'm so thankful. Father, thank you for this time. Thank you for your word. Thank you for the beautiful treasures that you've buried in there that we get to dig up every week. Thank you for your portions. Thank you for teaching us your instructions through your portions. Father, I pray that nothing comes out of my mouth that's not of you. Do not let me speak anything that's contrary to what you want spoken, Father. And let this go out and reach whoever it is that you want this to reach for your good purpose. In Yeshua's name, Amen. Okay, so this is what is it? It's the 41st portion, and it's Pinchas or Phinehas, or is so cute. Um, the other day we went to my grandson's swim meet, and one of the little boys there name was Phinehas. And she goes, "It's the good Phinehas of the Bible, not the bad Phinehas," the mom. And so we got in a big old conversation about this week's Torah portion and Phinehas and what a mighty man of valor he was, and how he ended up getting a covenant of peace for his lifetime. How beautiful is that? So Phine Pinchas or Phinehas Pinchas. It's called, oh, the mouth of a serpent. And Pinchas is the 41st Torah portion. It begins with God rewarding Pinchas, the grandson of Aaron, for his bold action in halting a plague caused by Israel's sin with the Moabites. God grants him a covenant of peace and the eternal priesthood. The portion then recounts a census of the Israelites, emphasizing the next generation that will enter into the promised land and outlines inheritance laws, including the case of the daughters of Zelophehad, who petitioned successfully for their father's land rights, setting a precedent for women's inheritance. God also instructs Moses to ascend a mountain and view the promised land, telling him that he will not enter it. Moses, concerned for the people's future, requests a successor, and God appoints Joshua, as the new leader. Emphasizing the importance of strong leadership, the portion concludes with detailed instructions about the daily sacrifices and the additional offerings for Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, which is the new moon, and festivals, signifying Israel's ongoing relationship with God. Pinchas highlights themes of zealousness for God, leadership, transitions, the balance of justice and compassion, and the sanctity of communal worship. So it is in your Bibles, Numbers 25, 10, all the way to 30. It's a long portion, 31. Just the first verse in chapter 30. In the prophets, it's Jeremiah 1, 1 through 2, 3. And in the Gospels, it's John 2, 13 through 22. So, all right, let me share my screen. It'll take me a second to get it all set up. It's that one there. And there we go. Come on, make you a little smaller. Just a little picture of me down there. There we go. Okay. Okay. Here we start in, sorry, Numbers 25, 10. Adonai said to Moshe, Pinchas, the son of Eleazar, the son of Aharon the Cohen. Okay, so Aaron's just died. Eleazar, his son, has just become the Cohen Gadol, which is the high priest. In the last portion, um, Moses, and then they went up to the mountain. Aaron took off the garments, and Eleazar put them on, and then Aaron died, and they came back down the mountain. Now his son is Pinchas. So he's a Levite. He's from the bloodline of Aharon. And he has deflected my anger from the people of Israel by being as zealous as I am, so that I didn't destroy them with my own zeal. So if we remember last week, the Balaam, they wanted to curse Israel, but the father wouldn't allow it. But then he taught the Midianites how to get Israelites to curse themselves by they sent their women, even the princes sent their daughters to seduce the men of Israel. And then there was Cosby, who was a prince's daughter, and I forget the man, but he was a Hebrew and an Israelite, and he actually brought her and was having sex with her in front of everybody, in front of, or even maybe possibly in the tabernacle. And Pinchas went in with a javelin with a spear and speared them through, both of them. The spear went through both of them and killed them. And because of this, the father, he actually blesses Pinchas for having the same zeal He's as zealous as I am, so that I did not destroy them in my own zeal. Therefore, say, I am giving him my covenant of shalom. He's coming into covenant with Pinchas, a covenant of peace. How beautiful is that? Making a covenant with him and his descendants after him, that the office of Cohen, priest, will be theirs forever. This is because he was zealous on my behalf, on behalf of his God, and made atonement for the people of Israel. It's kind of like the same reason that the Levites, the tribe of Levi, that they ended up getting the priesthood, because when the golden, when Aaron made the golden calf and the Israelites started worshiping the golden calf, the Israelites, the tribe of Levi went in and killed all the ones that had been participating. And instead of then the firstborn being the priests, the father then made the Levites the priests. So this is kind of the same thing, because of their zeal and their fervor to uphold the things of the Most High. He is now rewarding them. And actually, you know what? This is actually bothering me, so I'm gonna take it off and see how we do. Um, so yeah, it's not comfortable for reading this. The back brace was awesome, but the neck brace was not. Okay, so righty here. So making covenant. So the name of the man from Israel who was killed. Oh, here we go. Put to death with the woman from Midian was Zimri, the son of Salu, leader of one of the clans from the tribe of Shimeon. So one of the tribes of Simeon, he's a leader, and he ended up doing this. The name of the woman from Midian who was killed was Cosbi, the daughter of Zur, and he was head of the people in one of the clans of Midian. So these are both high ranking people that were doing this abomination in front of the people. They were in front of Moses and Aaron and the whole congregation, in either in front of or in the tabernacle. Adonai said to Moshe, treat the Midian as enemies and attack them, because they are treating you as enemies by the trickery they've used to deceive you in the P or incident, and in the affair of their sister Cosbi, the sister of the daughter of the leader from Midian, the woman who was killed on the day of the plague in the Peor. Oh, it's Peor. Sorry, not P. Peor. It's they tempted them to worship Baal, which Baal can mean Lord. It can also mean husband. Um, and the Midianites caused the Israelite men to worship Baal Peor, or and then the woman who was killed on the day of the plague in the Baal Peor incident after the plague. 26. Census of the new generation. Adonai said to Moses and Eleazar, son of Aharon the Cohen, take a census of the entire assembly of the people of Israel, 20 years old and over, by their ancestral clans, all who are subject to military service in Israel. So I think military service, goes from 20 to 60. It could be 20 to 50 or 20 to 60. And interesting that they're doing another census, but you figure a lot of people just died. And through through the Hamash, which is a bunch of writings that explain like a lot of oral Torah and oral stories that have been passed down, and what the sages and stuff have come to believe or consider in this, is that the people that were purged, essentially, because you figure what, a couple weeks ago, 24,000, or was it last week, 24,000 died because of the snakes. And it's been one plague after the other here the past couple of weeks, and thousands, have died. So now it's time to take a new census. But they've said that a lot of those were the ones that were the generation that were going to die in the wilderness anyway, and not the generation that was not going to enter into the promised land anyway. And pretty much they're having to wait around for these people to die so that they can enter into the promised land. So now they're doing a new census. This is the new generation, 20 years old and up, and they've been, you know, wandering around in the desert, and these are the ones that will be going into the promised land. So Moshe and Eleazar, the Cohen, spoke with them in the plains of Moab by the Jordan, across from Jericho, and explaining those 20 years old and over who came out of the land of Egypt as Adonai ordered Moshe and the people of Israel. The census results begin with Reuben, the firstborn of Israel. The descendants of Reuben were Hanok, the family of the Hanoki, and Palu, the family of the Palui. Of Herzron, the family of the Herzoni, and of Camri, the family of Camri. Sorry, there's a fly buzzing me. These were the families of the Reubenites. Of them were counted 43,730. The sons of Palul, Eliav. The sons of Eliav, Numal, Datan, Avram. These are the same Datan and Avram, men of reputation in the community who rebelled against Moshe and Aharon in Korah's group when they rebelled against Adonai. And the earth opened up its mouth and swallowed them up together with Korah when that group died. Oh, that's right. That was when a bunch of them got killed too. And the fire consumed 250 men, and they became a warning sign. However, the sons of Korah did not die because the sons of Korah repented and did not participate in the rebellion with Korah. So the descendants of Shimeon by their families were Nemiel, the family of Nemieli, of Yamin, the family of the Yamini, of Yachin, the family of the Yachini, of Zerach, the family of the Zerahi, and Shaul, the family of the Shauli. These are the families of Shimeon, 22,200. The descendants of Gad by their families were Sivon, the family of Zivoni, Hegi, the family of Hegi, and Shumni, the family of Shumni. Of Ozni, the family of Ozni, and Eri, the family of Eri. Of Arad, the family of Aradi, and of Areli, the family of Areli. These were the families of the sons of Gad, according to those counted of them 40,500. The sons of Yehuda of Judah, first and Onan, but and Onan died in the land of Canaan. The sons of Yehuda who had descendants were Shelah, the family of the Shelani, Peretz, the family of the Peretzi, and Zerach, the family of the Zerahi. The sons of Peretz were of Hetzron, the family of the Hetzroni, and Hamul, the family of the Hamili. These were the families of Yehuda of Judah, according to those counted of them, 76,500. The descendants of Issachar by their families were Tola, the family of the Tolai, Puva, the family of the Puni, Yashuv, the family of the Yushuvi, and Shimron, the family of the Shiromoni. These were the families of Issachar, according to those counted of them, 64,300. The descendants of Zebulun, by their families were Sered, the family of the Sardi, of Elon, the family of the Eloni, of Yachleel, the family of Yachali. These were the families of the Zebuloni, according to those counted of them, 60,500. The sons of Joseph by their family were Manasseh and Ephraim. The descendants of Manasseh were Machir, the family of Machari. Machir was the father of Gilad, and Gilad was the family of the Galadi. These were the descendants of the Galadi of Iazer, the family of the Izeri, and Helak, the family of Helki. of Asriel, the family of the Asrieli, and of Shechem, the family of the Shechemi, of of Shmida, the family of the Shmidai, and of Hefer, the family of the Heferi. Zelophehad, the son of Hefer, had no sons but daughters. The names of the daughters of Zelophehad are Machlah, Noah, Haglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. These were the families of Manasseh. Of them were counted 52,700. These are the descendants of Ephraim by their families, of Shutlah, the family of the Shutahi, of Becher, the family of the Becheri, and Tachan, the family of the Tachani. These are the descendants of Shudlach, of Aran, the family of the Arani. These are the families of the descendants of Ephraim, according to those of them that were counted, 32,500, and these were the descendants of Joseph by their families. The descendants of Benjamin, by their families were Bela, the family of the Belai, Ashbel, the family of the Ashbelai, Acharam, the family of the Acharami, of Shufapham, the family of the Shufami, and of Hufam, the family of the Hufami. The sons of Bela were Ard and Naaman of Ard, the family of the Ardi, and of Naaman, the family of the Naami. These were the descendants of Benjamin, by their families, and they were counted 45,600. The descendants of Dan by their families were Shucham, the family of the Shuchami. These are the families of Dan by their families. All of the families of the Shuchami, according to those of them that were counted, were 64,400. And the descendants of Asher by their family of Yimna, the family of the Yimna of Yishvi, the family of Yishvi, and of Briha, and the family of Bri'i. I don't know. The descendants of Briha, of Hever, the family of Heveri, and Malachiel, the family of the Malchieli. And the name of Asher's daughters was Sarach. Asher's daughter was Sarach. These were the families of the descendants of Asher, according to those of them that were counted, 53,400. The descendants of Naphtali, by their families, was Yachtiziel, the families of Yachtiziel, of Guni, the family of the Guni, of Yetzer, the family of Yetzerai, and of Shilem, the family of the Shilemani, or Shilemani. Not sure if that I is pronounced I or E. These are the families of Naphtali, according to their families, those of them that were counted, 45,400. Thus, those who were counted of the people of Israel numbered 601,730. So what's interesting is when they left Egypt, they were right around 600,000 that left Egypt, men. They didn't count the women and the children, just men. So it's interesting that when they went to Egypt, there was only 70. When they went, the Israelites, there were 70 of them. Then the Father caused them to increase greatly while in Egypt. And when they left, there was over 600,000 of them. While they were in the desert, of course, that whole first generation is dying off. And it looks as though they didn't reproduce. I mean, they reproduced enough to reproduce the number, but that's it. They didn't reproduce like they had in Egypt. So Adonai said to Moshe, the land is to be parceled out among these as a possession to be inherited according to the number of names. To those families with more persons, you are to give a greater inheritance, and those with fewer, you're to give a smaller inheritance. Each family's inheritance is to be given according to the number counted in it. However, the land to be awarded by lot is to be awarded by lot. They will inherit according to the names of the tribes of their ancestors, but the inheritance is to be parceled out by lot between the families with more and those with fewer. Those counted among the Levi by their families were of Gershom, the family of the Gershoni, of Kahat, the family of the Kahati, and Merari, the family of Merari. Okay, so remember, those are the three tribes that transport, I mean, because we're talking the Levites, and these are the families, Gershom, Kahat, and Merari are the three tribes. I'm not sure which one. One of them, I know that Kahat is the one that carries all the sacred items, the menorah, the altars, the my brain, the box with the cherubim on it, the Ark of the Covenant. That's it. And then Gershom and Merari are the ones that carry the other things. One of the tribes, they carry the clans. They carry all the fabric items and ropes and all of that, and then the other ones carry all the hardware, all the wood and things to build the tabernacle. So these are the families of Levi, the families of the Levni, the families of Havroni, the families of Melchi, the family of Mushi, and the family of Korhi. Kahat was the father of Amram. Okay, so these are the other Levite families that are not, not part of the first three, or they're the grandsons or so. The name of Amram's wife was Jehoshaphat, the daughter of Levi, who was born to Levi in Egypt, and she bore Amram, Aharon, Moshe. She bore to Amram, Aharon, Moshe, and their sister Miriam. So, this goes all the way back. Miriam was, with Moshe when they put him in the basket in the water. So Jehoshaphat is the daughter of Levi, and and she was married to Amram. And what does it say here? Kahat, which was the son of Levi, was the father of Amram. So to Aharon were born Nadav, Avihu, Eleazar, and Itamar. Of course, we know Nadav and Avihu. I think it probably says here, but Nadav and Avihu died when they offered unauthorized fire before Adonai. Those males 1 month old or more counted of the Levi were 23,000. These were not included in the census of the people of Israel because no land for inheritance was given to them among the people of Israel. These are the ones counted by Moshe and Eleazar the Cohen, who took a census of the people of Israel in the plains of Moab by the Jordan, across from Jericho. But there was not a man among them who had also been included in the census. But let me make sure. But there was not a man among them who had also been included in the census of Moshe and Aaron the Cohen when they enumerated the people of Israel in the Sinai desert, the first census, because Adonai had said of them, they will surely die in the desert. So there was not left even one of them except Caleb, son of Yefunni, and Yehoshua, son of Nun. So remember, Caleb and Joshua were the ones, the two spies out of the 12 that came back and did not give an evil report. So their blessing was they got to, they were the only ones of their generation that actually got to enter the promised land. And all the rest of those generations died. So 27, the daughters of Zelophehad. When the daughters of Zelophehad, the son of Hepher, the son of Gilad, the son of Machir, the son of Manash, of the families of Manash, the son of Joseph, approached. So these are Joseph's son Manasseh, his family line. These were the names of his daughters: Michlah, Noah, Haglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They stood in front of Eleazar the Cohen, and the leaders of the whole community at the entrance of the tent of meeting and said, "Our father died in the desert. He wasn't part of the group who assembled themselves to rebel against Adonai in Korah's group, but he died in his own sin, and he had no sons," because he was one of the generation that, left Egypt and was not entering the promised land. "Why should the name of our father be eliminated from his family just because he didn't have a son? Give us property to possess along with our brothers, along with the brothers of our father," so their uncles. And Moshe brought their case before Adonai. And Adonai answered Moshe, "The daughters of Zelophehad were right in what they say. You must give them property to be inherited along with that of their father's brothers. Have what their father would have inherited passed to them. Moreover, say to the people of Israel, if a man dies and does not have a son, you are to have his inheritance passed to his daughter." Interesting. That kind of with my dad, I was his only child. He did not have a son. He only had me, and his inheritance passed to me. If he doesn't have a daughter, give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, give his inheritance to his father's brothers. If his father doesn't have brothers, give his inheritance to the closest relative in his family, and he will possess it. This will be a standard for judgment to be used by the people of Israel as Adonai ordered Moshe. Joshua to succeed Moses. So Adonai said to Moshe, "Climb this mountain in the Avrim range and look out at the land which I have given the people of Israel. After you've seen it, you too will be gathered to your people, just as Aharon, your brother, was gathered. Because in the Sin desert, when the community was disputing me, you rebelled against my order to uphold my holiness by means of the water, with them looking on." This was Mirvat Kadash spring in the Sin desert. And Moshe said to Adonai, "Let Adonai, God of the spirit of all human beings, appoint a man to be over the community, to go out and come in ahead of them, to lead them out and bring them in. So Adonai's community will not be like sheep without a shepherd." And Adonai said to Moshe, "Take Yehoshua, son of Nun, a spiritual man, and lay your hands on him." Now you think about this. Joshua has literally been Moses' assistant for the full 40 years. And so remember, he would even sit when Moses would go and meet with the Most High face to face, he would be in the tent and watching and listening. And so he's one that brought back a good report from the land saying, surely we can take it. Well, that was Caleb, but he agreed they could take the land when the other 10 spies were like, "No, the giants are too big." Excuse me. Um, Put him in front of Eleazar, the Cohen, the priest, and the whole community, and commission him in their sight. Delegate to him some of your authority so that the entire community of Israel will obey him. He is to present himself to Eleazar, the Cohen, who is to find out by means of the Urim what Adonai's will is for Yehoshua's decisions. Then at his word they will go out, and at his word they will come in, both he and all the people of Israel, with him, the whole community. So they're here to find out by means of the Urim. So there's the Urim and the Thummim. Those are, and I don't know for sure. I've heard that they were rocks with engraving on them, or I've also heard they were parchments, but they're in the pocket. They're put in the pocket. Remember, the breastplate was a rectangle and then folded up so that it made a pocket, and that's where the Urim and the Thummim would be in there. And there's different stories about how they actually read it. Some would say that the light from the menorah or something a light would shine on the stones, and then it would shine on which way they were supposed to go. But it was their way that the Father would show them what his will was, kind of like casting lots. So Moshe did as Adonai had ordered him. He took Joshua, and put him before Eleazar the Cohen, and the whole community laid hands on him and commissioned him as Adonai had said through Moshe. Daily offerings. Adonai said to Moshe, give an order to the people of Israel and tell them, you are to take care to offer me at proper times the food presented to me as offerings made by fire, providing a fragrant aroma for me. And tell them, this is the offering made by fire that you are to bring to Adonai. Male lambs in their first year without defect, two daily as regular burnt offerings. Offer the one lamb in the morning and the other lamb at dusk, along with 2 quarts of fine flour as a grain offering, mixed with 1 quart of oil from pressed olives. It is the regular burnt offering. The same is to be offered on Mount Sinai to give a fragrant aroma, an offering made by fire for Adonai. This drink offering is to be this drink offering is to be 1/4 hin for one lamb. In the holy place, you are to pour out a drink offering of intoxicating liquor to Adonai. The other lamb you are to present at dusk. Present it with the same kind of grain offering and drink offering as in the morning, as it is an offering made by fire with a fragrant aroma for Adonai. Sabbath offerings. On Shabbat, offered 2 male lambs in their first year and without defect, with 1 gallon of fine flour. That's a lot. I mean, I have big gallon pickle jars full of flour. I mean, that's a lot of flour. So you that every Sabbath, 1 gallon of fine flour as a grain offering mixed with olive oil and its drink offering. This is a burnt offering for every Shabbat, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its drink offering. Then there's the monthly offering. So this is probably Rosh Chodesh is the new moon offering. So every time the sliver of the moon, when the sliver appears, well, it's dark for a day, and then the sliver appear is the new moon. At each Rosh Chodesh of yours, each new moon, you are to present a burnt offering to Adonai consisting of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs in their first year and without defect, because we're supposed to have a feast. We're supposed to celebrate the new moon every month. And that's something that we're implementing. I haven't gone so far as to create a good meal. I do and I'm actually going to start when it starts all over again, coming at Rosh Hashanah. I forget when, but in the fall feasts, when the new moon, where is my new moon book? Let me see where we're at. We're in the 4th month, so we've just begun. Um, and maybe I'll go in and I'll record. Um, it's interesting because each month has a theme, and each of those themes is very, very, I mean, the Father and his perfect timing, it's so appropriate for the month that it's in. It's crazy. Um, and so, but I want to start, I mean, treating it like a Sabbath, having a really nice feast meal um, on the new moon. So, uh, with 6 quarts of fine flour mixed with, let's see, this is easy for my brain because I've been canning. Pint quart. So a quart is, a quart jar. So 6 quarts of fine flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering for each bowl. So what does it say here? 2 young bulls. So 6 quarts for each bowl. 4 quarts of fine flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering for the 1 ram. Then 2 quarts of fine flour mixed with olive oil as a grain offering for each lamb. So 1 ram, 7 male lambs. So 2 quarts for each male lamb. An offering made by fire for Adonai. Their drink offerings will be 2 quarts of wine for a bull, 1 1/3 quarts for a ram, and 1 quart for each lamb. This is the burnt offering for every Rosh Chodesh, every new moon, throughout the months of the year. Also, a male goat is to be offered as a sin offering to Adonai in addition to the regular burnt offerings. Okay, so we're not able to do these things perfectly. And he doesn't expect us to. And I've often played, oh, you have to follow all of these rules. And it's like, no, I don't have to do anything. I don't have to keep the feast. I don't have to keep the laws. I don't have to do any of it. I want to because he has been so good to me. And he has put these things out and said, I want you to do them. And he knows we can't do them we can't do them perfectly because we're not in the land. I'm not in Israel. And even if I were in Israel, they can't do it in Israel yet because there's no temple. And so once the third temple's built, then all of this can be implemented again. And they're all getting prepared and ready to do this. I mean, they've trained, they have a high priest that meets all the requirements. They did a practice run with the red heifer. They have some potential red heifers that they're watching. And boy, once they're able to, and she's not a sacrifice, she's a purification ritual. When we went over that last week with the red heifer. Once they do that, then they're able to purify the priest, purify the temple, and then they can start implementing these again. But right now, while we're not in the land and we don't have a temple, the reason we do these things is the reminder, is to remember. The reason we celebrate the new moon every month, one, is to just be so thankful that he's given us another month and to teach us his ways. All of this teaches us his nature and his character. And when we practice it, and each week we practice the Shabbat, we observe the Shabbat, our Sabbath rest, and then we practice the new moon. And then here we're going to start going into all of the feasts. It just teaches us more about him and it prepares us for the day that this is all implemented again. Because in prophecy, it talks about how when Yeshua comes back, these things will be put back into place, and people will come from all around the world to go up to the temple and celebrate these feasts. And us doing it now, it's teaching us, this is how, I mean, the Israelites, the Jews have been doing this for thousands of years, and they teach it to their children and their children's children. And it's normal, and it's for them, but for us who have come into it later in life, we have some catching up to do. And so we're able, you know, we learn by practicing. So the Passover offerings, of course, we can't do the offerings. We can't, we're not killing any bulls and the grain and all that because we can't take it to the temple. I know after the temple was destroyed in 70 AD by the Romans, um, then they started implementing morning and evening prayer in substitution for the morning and evening offering. And they say the Shema, um, you know, that is the Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one, is the Shema. And I really need to memorize it because this is something I'm feeling very convicted and very pressed upon that I want to start doing is reciting the Shema every morning and every evening. And and the prayers at the Sabbath and stuff, I'm trying to memorize them and learn them. So anyway, the Passover offering. In the first month, on the 14th day of the month, is Adonai's Pesach. People are like, that's a Jewish tradition. No, right here. It's Adonai's Passover. He implemented it, just like the Sabbath, the seventh day. He implemented it as his Sabbath. On the 14th day of the month is to be a feast. Matzah is to be eaten. Unleavened bread is to be eaten for 7 days. The first day is to be a holy convocation. That means they get together in a congregation. They get together and do not do any kind of ordinary work, like your work to make money, your job work. You can cook, but present an offering made by fire, a burnt offering to Adonai consisting of 2 bulls, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs in their first year. They are to be without defect for you. With their grain offering, fine flour mixed with olive oil, offer 6 quarts for a bull, 4 quarts for a ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs. And also a male goat is a sin offering to make atonement for you. You are to offer these in addition to the morning burnt offering, which is the regular burnt offering. In this fashion, you are to offer daily. For 7 days, the food of the offering made by fire, making a fragrant aroma for Adonai, is to be offered in addition to the regular burnt offerings and its drink offering. On the 7th day, you are to have a holy convocation. So on the first day and then on the 7th day, you have another celebration congregation where you get together with other believers and you don't work. It's a Sabbath, and you have a feast. Offerings for the Feast of Weeks. Now, then you count the Omer, 50 days, and that comes up with Shavuot, the Feast of Weeks. And on the day of the first fruits, when you bring a new grain offering to Adonai in your Feast of Shavuot, you are to have a holy convocation, a gathering, and you're not to do any kind of ordinary work, but present a burnt offering as a fragrant aroma for Adonai, consisting of 2 young bulls, 1 ram, 7 male lambs in their first year, and their grain offering, fine flour mixed with olive oil, 6 quarts for each bull, 4 quarts for 1 ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs, plus a male goat to make atonement for you. You are to offer these in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain offering. They are to be without defect for you with their drink offerings. Offerings for the Feast of Trumpets. So then, okay, so we just have Shavuot. So basically you have Passover and unleavened bread, and then first fruits, which is the barley harvest. That's in the spring. And then 50 days later, then you have Shavuot, which is the day that the Torah was given, the day that the Holy Spirit came down, after Jesus had died and was resurrected. And then these are the fall feasts, the Feast of Trumpets. In the 7th month, on the first day of the month, you are to have a holy convocation, a get together. Do not do any ordinary work. It is a day for blowing the shofar for you. Prepare a burnt offering to make a fragrant aroma for Adonai, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs in their first year and without defect. With their grain offerings consisting of fine flour mixed with olive oil, 6 quarts for the bull, 4 quarts for the ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs. Also, 1 male goat is a sin offering to make atonement for you. This is to be in addition to the burnt offerings for Rosh Chodesh, the new moon, with its grain offering, and the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and their drink offerings. According to the rule for them, this is a fragrant aroma, an offering made by fire to Adonai. Offerings for the Day of Atonement. On the 10th day of this 7th month, you are to have a holy convocation, a get together. You are to deny yourselves, and you are not to do any kind of work. Many people believe you're to deny yourself, meaning you're to fast. You're to deny yourself food for the Day of Atonement. But you are to present a burnt offering to Adonai to make a fragrant aroma, 1 young bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs in their first year. They are to be without defect for you. With their grain offering, fine mixed flour with olive oil, 6 quarts for a bull, 4 quarts for 1 ram, and 2 quarts for each of the 7 lambs. Also, 1 male goat is a sin offering, in addition to the sin offering for atonement and the regular burnt offerings with its grain offering and their drink offering. So the stacks. Offering for the Feast of Booths, the Feast of Tabernacles, which is another week-long feast, kind of like unleavened bread is in the spring. This is another week-long feast in the fall. On the 15th day of the 7th month, you are to have a holy convocation. You are not to do any kind of ordinary work, and you are to observe the feast to Adonai 7 days. So, and this is everyone's favorite. You camp out, you get together, you live communally for a week and celebrate the Most High, which I've not yet been able to do with a congregation. I'm looking forward to one day being able to celebrate the Feast of Tabernacles with a congregation, because it just seems like it'd be so much fun. And my prayer is one day that my children will be able, and grandchildren will be celebrating all of these with us as well. You are to present a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, bringing a fragrant aroma to Adonai. It is to consist of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year. They are to be without defect. With the grain offering, fine flour mixed with olive oil, 6 quarts for each of the 13 bulls, 4 quarts for each of the 2 rams, and 2 quarts for each of the 14 lambs. Also, 1 male goat is a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offerings with its grain and drink offerings. On the second day, you are to present 12 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offering for the bulls, rams, and lambs according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat is a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offerings, its grain offering, and their drink offering. This is one of the I forget what it's called, but it's one of the times when all of the men go up to the tabernacle, and they're having a big barbecue. I mean, literally, they are like a lot of this. They're eating. They present their portion, and then they eat the rest, and they eat it in the in community. On the third day, 11 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offering for the bulls, rams, and lambs according to the number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat is a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain and drink offerings. On the fourth day, 10 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offering for the bulls, rams, and lambs, according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat is a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offerings with the grain and drink offerings. On the fifth day, 9 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain and drink offerings. And on the sixth day, 8 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat is a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offerings with its grain and drink offerings. On the seventh day, 7 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bulls, rams, and lambs according to the number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offerings and the grain offerings and the drink offerings. On the eighth day, you are to have a festive assembly, and you're not to do any kind of ordinary work. But you are to present a burnt offering, an offering made by fire, giving a fragrant aroma to Adonai, 1 bull, 1 ram, 7 male lambs in their first year without defect, with the grain and drink offerings for the bull and the ram and the lambs according to their number, in keeping with the rule. Also, 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering and its grain and drink offerings. You are to offer these to Adonai at your designated times, in addition to your vows and voluntary offerings, whether these are your burnt offerings, grain offerings, drink offerings, or peace offerings. Moshe told the people of Israel everything just as Adonai had ordered Moshe. That's the Torah portion part. Now we're going to go to Jeremiah 1:1 through 2:3. These are the words of Yirmiyahu, son of Hilkiyahu, one of the Kohanim, the priests living in Anatot, in the territory of Benaim. So they're in the territory. Okay, so we talked about how they're going to be casting lots and giving the larger territories to the larger tribes and separating out the territories once they get into the promised land. And so now they're in the promised land, and this is in the territory of the tribe of Benjamin. The word of Adonai came to him during the days of Yoshiahu, the son of Ammon, king of Yehuda, king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. And it also came during the days of Joachim, the son of Yashiyahu, king of Yehuda, continuing until the 11th year of Tizkiyahu, the son of Yoshiyahu, king of Yehuda, right up until the time Yerushalayim was carried away captive in the 5th month. So right before Jerusalem um, was captured and then taken away captive. The call of Jeremiah. Here's the word of Adonai that came to me. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Before you were born, I separated you from myself. I have appointed you to be a prophet to the nations. I said, Oh, Adonai Elohim, I do not even know how to speak. I'm just a child. But Adonai said to me, Don't say, I'm just a child, for you will go to whomever I send you, and you will speak whatever I order you. Do not be afraid of them, for I am with you, says Adonai, to rescue you. Then Adonai put out his hand and touched my mouth, and Adonai said to me, There, I have put my words in your mouth. Wow, how beautiful is that? I mean, remember Moses even, he was like, No, I can't do this. I'm not good at speaking. And like when he told me to start recording these Torah portions, it was like, What? You want me to read the Bible and record it and let people hear it and listen to it? And he really has been faithful to put the words in my mouth and you know, show me what the whole purpose was because like there's times like, why am I even doing this? But he's shown me that it's to help spread a love and a passion for his word. And reading his word is to help people that maybe they're going through a season where they're having a hard time just reading the word by themselves. That's the way you read it with me, or they're just coming into starting to read the Old Testament, the Torah, the first 5 books of the Bible. This is all new. And, I read the Bible from cover to cover several times in my 40 years that I was a Christian. Fortunately, feel so blessed that I was never taught or never, I was kind of rebellious, so maybe I just didn't listen to those who were trying to teach me. But I was never under the thing of, oh, we just read the New Testament. We read from Matthew forward. I mean, I remember after I got saved, I was given, and I still have it. It's all falling apart, but because it's old, because I was given to me in 1980. Um, I was given a King James Bible, and I opened it up and started reading from the very beginning. And that's probably why, throughout the decades of me being a Christian, I would always have these questions like, why are we celebrating Sabbath on Sunday and not Saturday? Why are we not still doing these feasts? I remember my last church that I was involved with, they do a monthly fast in the month of September. All month long, they fast and pray. And when I first heard it, it's like, oh, is this for the fall feast? Oh my gosh, this is so awesome. I'm finally involved in a church that's going to do the real feasts that are listed in the Bible. And they're like, oh, no, no, we just, this is when the Father told us to do this. I'm like, oh, darn. Yeah, we don't do any of that Jewish stuff. And so, and now it's really awesome that I do that Jewish stuff. But anyway, um, same thing, we get these thoughts in our minds that we're not capable. We're not able. I can't read the word. I can't comprehend it. I can't retain it. I can't speak well. I can't. And basically that's saying that the arm of the Lord is too short. It's basically saying the Holy Spirit's just not capable of helping me to do the things necessary that I need to do. And I'm thankful and blessed that I I knew that if and this is kind of my thought process, if he's asking me or telling me or requiring me to do something, um he's going to equip me to be able to do it. And like reading the Torah is something that we're supposed to do, celebrating the feast, all the things, and so it's not up to me. It's up to him, and he will bring it about and make it to happen. And I may practice and practice poorly for a long period of time. I mean, it's one of the reasons I was telling a friend of this, I don't listen. I do not go back and listen to these. I don't go back and listen to my recordings because then my flesh would jump in and I would like delete it all and I would never put it out there because I would have analysis paralysis. I would analyze it to death and then it would never be good enough and I would just stop. So I read it, present, publish it and send it out and never look at it again. Because I know myself well enough to know that I'm my own worst enemy and I would pick it apart. The couple of times that I did watch my own videos, I really, in fact, I may have in the very beginning gone in and deleted it because it was like, oh yeah, no, that's horrible, and I don't know anything, and blah blah whatever. You know, those intrusive thoughts that come in and speak curses instead of speak death instead of life. So anyway, so Adonai put out his hand and touched my mouth, and Adonai said to me, "There, I've put my word in your mouth." So his hand is not too short. He is capable of doing these things. Today I have placed you over nations and kingdoms to uproot and to tear down, to destroy and to demolish, to build and to plant. The word of Adonai came to me asking, Yirmiyahu, Jeremiah, what do you see? I answered, I see a branch from an almond tree. In Hebrew, it's Shechat, maybe. Then Adonai said to me, you have seen well, because I am watching. Hebrew is shoked, to fulfill my word. A second time, the word of Adonai came to me asking, what do you see? And I answered, I see a cauldron tilted away from the north over a fire fanned by the wind. And then Adonai said to me, from the north, calamity will boil over into everyone living in the land, because I will summon all of the families in the kingdoms of the north, says Adonai, and I will come, and they will come and sit, each one on his throne at the entrance of the gates of Jerusalem, opposite its walls, all the way around, and opposite all the cities of Yehuda, of Judah. Excuse me, I will pronounce my judgments against them for all of the wickedness in abandoning me, offering incense to other gods and worshiping what their own hands made. But you, dress for action. Stand up and tell them everything I order you to say. And when you confront them, don't break down, or I will break you down in front of them. For today, you see, I have made you into a fortified city, a pillar of iron, a wall of bronze against the whole land, against the kings of Yehuda, against its princes, and against its Kohanim, its priests, and the people of the land. They will fight against you, but they will not overcome you, for I am with you, says Adonai, to rescue you. The word of Adonai came to me. Go and shout in the ears of Jerusalem, that this is what Adonai says. I remember your devotion when you were young, how, as a bride, you loved me, how you followed me through the desert, through a land not sown. Israel is set aside for Adonai, the first fruits of his harvest. All who devour him will incur guilt. Even evil will befall them, says Adonai. So that is the Haftorah, which is the prophets. And now we go down to John 2:13 through 22 for the Gospels. Jesus cleanses the temple. It was almost time for the festival of Pesach, of Passover in Yehuda, in Judah. Remember, so by the time Jesus was there, all that was left was the tribe, was Judah. There were some Benjamites, Levites, because the Levites, the Levites, they split up, with the different tribes. There were Levites with the different tribes. So the northern 10 tribes have already been taken away into exile and have been dispersed amongst the nations. And, but Judah still, Judah was still there in the land when Jesus walked the earth. And so it was almost time for the festival of Passover, Pesach in Yehuda. So Yeshua, Jesus went up to Jerusalem, which is, the traveling feasts when all the males go up to the tabernacle, go up to Jerusalem. In the temple grounds, and in that time it's the temple, not the tabernacle. The tabernacle was the tent. Now it's, I think it's Herod's temple at this time. So Solomon built a temple, and then I'm not sure about the temples. I'm still learning about the temples. But at the time of when Jesus was there, I'm pretty sure that Herod had built onto the temple. Anyway, he made a whip from cords and drove them all out of the temple grounds, the sheep, the cattle as well. He knocked over the money changers' tables and he scattered their coins. And to the pigeon sellers, he said, "Get these things out of here. How dare you turn your father's house into a market?" So sometimes where I have a real hard time with these big mega churches that, are selling coffee and t-shirts and things like that on Shabbat, or, on Sunday, you know, where they have their coffee shop and I don't know, just a personal of mine having a challenge. So his Teledim, his disciples later recalled that the Tanakh, and sorry, this sounds like somebody's at my gate, or it could be birds or deer or the cat. I have an alarm that lets me know if someone's at the gate, but my camera's oh, there goes my camera. So Rusty might be home actually. Because then usually when Hootie goes off and starts hooting, then the camera goes off and lets me know that someone is in Rusty's home. So Rusty's at the gate. So anyway, perfect timing. We're almost done. His Telegram later recalled that the Tanakh says, the Tanakh is the Old Testament, zeal for your house will devour me. So the Judeans confronted him by asking, "What miraculous signs can you show us to prove that you have the right to do all of this?" And Yeshua answered them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up again." The Judeans said, "It took 46 years to build this temple." Hi, baby. "And you're going to raise it in 3 days?" But the temple, I'm sorry, I'm going to start this over. Hi, my love. I'll be done in a few minutes.
Love you.
Love you. So the Judeans, the Jews, confronted him and by asking, "What miraculous sign can you show us to prove that you have the right to do all of this?" And Yeshua answered them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will rise it up again." Boy, he caused some problems there. And the Judeans, the Jews, said, "It took 46 years to build this temple, and you're going to raise it in 3 days?" But the temple he had spoken of was his own body, his body. And therefore, when he was raised from the dead, his Teledim, his disciples, remembered that he had said this, and they trusted in the Tanakh and what Yeshua had said. They trusted in the Bible. And Tanakh, I forget what it. I'm pretty sure Tanakh. It's like an acronym of the Torah, yeah, the Torah and the prophets and all of that. So anyway, that is it for today. I thank you so much for reading along with me. And I pray that you're blessed. In fact, Father, Yah, send out blessings to everyone who has listened to this, Father. And Father, I just pray that you stir up in them a love and a passion for your word and your ways and your character and your nature. And just, like a deer pants for water, and just draw them in and give them a craving and a passion for your written word so that they can learn of you and your character and how wonderful you truly are. What a good, good Father you are. Thank you, Father, in Yeshua's name. Amen. All right. Well, I actually am going to be traveling this next couple of weeks. I'm going up to my girlfriend Gina's house, and I'm going to be house sitting for her. So I'm taking my computer, my laptop here, and everything I need. So I will be doing my Torah portions on the road. So the next time you see me, I'll be in someone else's house, not mine. And I'm trying to figure out when I will also do another update in Living in the Way, the recording I do. I was hoping to do it after this. I'm gonna go have a conversation with my husband and see what his plans are, and then I'll see if I have time to do that or not. So be blessed. Y'all willing, I'll see you all next week. Bye.